Yeah, this is going to be a long video. With the first season of OWCS all wrapped up, I felt that now is as good a time as any to take a look back at this year and go over the best matches of the OWCS season. There were a ton of really good games, and it was very hard to pick, but I think I got some good ones. I made sure to get at least 2 per region, Asia, NA, and EU, so I could talk about more teams. With that said though, I'm sure I missed a match that you loved, so leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite games were throughout the season. If you like Overwatch esports and you want to help support me, consider subscribing to the channel. YouTube says that only 20% of my viewers are actually subscribed, so if you like the Overwatch League, OWCS, or just Overwatch in general, consider subscribing to help support me. It really is appreciated. With all that said though, let's quickly go over my personal favorite match from the year. This match was that 7-map insane series between the Toronto Ultra and Zeta division during the Esports World Cup. However, since that match was not actually a part of the OWCS season, it will not be included in the list. But if you want a review of it, I actually already have a video where I talk about it in detail, so go check that out if you're interested. Moving on, let's talk about a match that is from OWCS, the NA Stage 4 Finals between the Toronto Defiant and Nightmare, which was an unexpected 7-map banger. Previously, Toronto had barely edged out a narrow win against Nightmare in the upper bracket finals, and Nightmare were itching for some revenge in grand finals in hopes of stopping Toronto from winning all 4 stages. Map 1 was Ilios, where Zeta helped Nightmare secure the first round with a nasty play on Genji, absolutely obliterating Vega with some headshots and using his blade to clean up Sugar Free. Zeta has been low-key goated all year, and he wasn't about to let Sugar Free run him down. On round 2, Toronto wanted to play full dive, but Seeker said no fun allowed, and decided to play every Lucio player's absolute worst nightmare, Sombra. Lenny decided that enough was enough, and it was his turn to play Lucio, duplicating Admiral and running Seeker down before cleaning up the rest of Nightmare. However, this all came much too late, with Nightmare having already gotten to 99%, and despite their best efforts to come back, all Nightmare needed was 1 fight win, and with a Primal from Infected and double support ults, Nightmare were up 1 in the series. Map 2 was New Queen Street, and Infected decided that he was gonna ball out. He did his best Junbin cosplay, but even he cannot compete with the King of the Hamsters. Merit swaps to Sombra in hopes of taking the ball and Widowmaker down, but he gets caught out and bopped by Admiral, allowing for Nightmare to get over 50 meters and pressure the checkpoint. In the following fight, Vega can still not escape getting Ajaxed even on Juno, and he ends up losing his ultimate, while CJ makes quick work of Merit and RuPaul, allowing for an easy checkpoint for Nightmare. Merit gets tired of infected shit and EMPs him, allowing for an easy 2k cleanup and for Toronto Defiant to finally get themselves on the board. Toronto gets some momentum and even get the checkpoint, and a nice sleep from RuPaul onto Infected opens up the opportunity for Lenny to lob a pulse bomb up onto the high ground and roll through Nightmare to take the lead in the map. Map 3 was New Junk City, and oh man, what a banger this map was. Infected opened it up with a nice 2k Terra Surge, with Zero's Blade helping to finish off the survivors. In the following fight, Seeker decides to do a little bit of trolling and to sit in the back behind Toronto. He jump scares poor Merit with the classic Cast Fan the Hammer, which gives Nightmare the first flashpoint for free. It was looking like maybe Nightmare would 3-0 Toronto on this map, but Lenny had other things to say about that, and with a huge blade, he keeps Toronto in the map. In the next flashpoint, Sugar Free again comes up big with a 4k blade to start things off, and it's simply just another day on the job for this guy. He cannot be stopped. Toronto take another point, and suddenly they're on the verge of a flashpoint reverse sweep. But Zera yet again comes in clutch with a 2k blade on the backline to help keep Nightmare alive and take a 2-1 lead in the series. Map 4 was Watchpoint Gibraltar, and Seeker opens things up for Nightmare on the attack with a nice headshot onto RuPaul. And even though Lenny responds with a pulse bomb onto CJ, Infected cleans up 2 with his Primal Rage, giving Nightmare an easy first point cap. Toronto end up holding Nightmare on the 3rd point, and on their offense, Mara gets an opening kill onto Seeker, and RuPaul absolutely runs Infected's pockets, leaving him in no man's land and unable to stop Toronto from capping point A. Like, look at where he is, he's not even in the right time zone to stop the Defiant. Luckily, a nanoed Seeker gets the touch, but Merit comes up with 5 kills to shut down Nightmare's contest. Like, how does a Widowmaker even get 5 final blows? Well, thanks to OBS Sojourn, we're actually able to see exactly what happened, and yeah, it's typical Merit things. nobody can quite produce just like this guy. But what isn't a mystery is how Toronto ended up winning this map. With Merit hitting shots like this, it's no wonder Toronto were able to tie up the series. Moving on to map 5, King's Row is an age-old classic, and someone really thought that shoving Infected into a corner would help him get the kill. But Admiral and CJ have his back, and someone gets clapped, allowing for Nightmare to go in and cap point A. On point B, Sugarfree gets a really nice blade, picking up 3, and Toronto end up staggering Infected for a long time, trying to dwindle down the time bank. Infected just looks so sad here, just begging for them to come and kill him. Both teams full cap the map, but Nightmare has a significantly longer time bank, and on their attack, Seeker gets an early pick onto Vega, which ends up leading to Nightmare going on to match point. Map 6 was Esperanca, and someone opened it up with a Nano 3K to get Toronto rolling early in the map. But wait, look a little bit closer. Seeker chucks his dynamite into a lamp and looks in horror as someone's Winston descends upon him. However, this event has much to have opened Seeker's third eye, because he immediately bounced back with 2 one-taps onto the Toronto support line to take the lead back. However, Toronto were not going to go down that easy, and they pushed back, taking the lead potentially bring us to a map 7. But right as the time ran out, Vega decides to lob his Captive Sun right into Infected and giving him the easiest eat of his life. I mean, Vega was a million miles away, like, even I could have the reaction time to get that thing. Luckily for Vega though, the rest of the Toronto Defiant were able to come in and bail him out and take us to a deciding map 7. Map 7 was Lijiang Tower, and it was all or nothing to win stage 4. Round 1 was firmly in Nightmare's control, with a round ceiling double boot from Zera to knock RuPaul and nanoed someone off the map. Zera must have caught someone right after his jump because that nano got literally no value at all. Toronto are able to tie it up with a win on round 2, and on map 3, Seeker kicks things off with a nasty shot onto Merit. I mean, good lord, I didn't even see him. I had no idea how he hit this. Like, I was watching him hit and it looked like he was shooting the air. However, Toronto seemed to figure him out pretty quickly, because in the next fight, Toronto had him running back into his own spawn and forced him to switch characters. Seeker decides to be a little quirky and replicate his trick from New Junk City, but he gets caught out this time and killed early, and some nice brig play by RuPaul gets Toronto right back in the game. I don't really know why Seeker went for this, maybe because it worked before, but Toronto had his number, and in the next fight, Sugarfree deflects his own High Noon right back at him, pulls out the blade, and kills 3, taking stage 4 in a brutal map 7. Crazy how in one round, Seeker goes from crazy headshot to getting owned by Lenny. Unfortunate time for it to happen, but Toronto were able to prove themselves that they were without a doubt the best NA team, and they proved to be the best Western team in the finals. Moving away from North America, let's talk about some of these Korean matches. In Korea Stage 1, we were blessed with a 5-map banger between Yeti and From the Gamer, who later became Zeta Division. This match was mostly for seeding, so both teams went all out. On map 1, we were blessed with a Donghak Rhine sighting. The sheer aura of the Reinhardt gave Yeti a free 30%, but Bliss decided to solo beat and get absolutely zero value with his ultimate. Like, at least an Ajax would have been a funny clip, but this beat was just sad. FGG took this momentum and took the first round before Donghak could even get a shatter off. In round 2, Violet opened things up with an insanely early beat, having it before Bliss even got to 65%. And in the following fight, he sends Donghak into the pit for another free fight win. FGG are able to clean up and take map 1. On Suravasa, From the Gamer and Yeti trade back and forth on the first few points, with Yeti getting an early 2-1 lead. However, on point D, Knife railguns Alpha Yi for a free team fight, getting them set up and started to win the map. After a rough fight though, From the Gamer were able to catch up in percentage, and with a massive ult advantage too, Flora pops off with some nice headshots, including a one-tap onto Viper, and they tie up the map. Yeti get a big team fight win, and after staggering Bernard for quite a while, they are able to prevent From the Gamer from even being able to touch, and they tie up the series. Map 3, Havana, gifted us with yet another Donghak Reinhardt showing, this time to try to spawn hold on point A. It works beautifully, and Yeti hold From the Gamer on first point in a dominant fashion. Donghak pins right next to their spawn, and Viper sim beams them down from behind, burning a ton of time off the clock. The Donghart was so successful that Bernard decides to mirror the Reinhardt, and it actually works, with Bernard blocking a very ambitious shatter by Donghack. Yeti are able to regroup, and with an incredible TP Deadeye kill from Knife, Yeti are able to full hold FTG. On offense, Donghack tries the Doomfist, but Flora shreds him in seconds on the Bastion, allowing FTG to continue their full hold. Eventually, Yeti finally break out of the spawn hold, and a nasty 3k Dragon Blade from Viper seals the deal for Yeti, and they take the 2-1 lead in the series. Viper straight up pulls this blade out of his ass, wiping the floor with the FTG support line, and even with a Blizzard and Flux in response, it was way too little for too late for FTG. Map 4 was Colosseo, and the Dongfist made yet another appearance. Yeti takes an early lead, but a huge 2k pulse bomb from Alpha Yi on both Yeti supports, as well as a cleanup from Donghack, helps give FTG back into this map. Knife goes for a cheeky flanking OC, but FTG ain't having none of that, dropping a window and a turret surge right on top of him, killing him and Irony, who tried his best to bail him out. After a few fights, Knife finally builds up another OC and takes Flora down, but Bernard was simply not gonna allow Knife to do anything on this map, and he straight up runs him down, eating Viper's pulse bomb in the process, and then proceeds to solo ult Knife yet again, killing him and Irony before lobbing a spear at Viper, forcing the recall. I don't think I've glazed Bernard enough yet, because oh my gosh, this guy's Orisa is nasty. FTG are able to use this momentum and take the bot back, and sweep up Yeti to tie the series and bring this thing to a map 5. On Eichenwald, something must have been in the water, because these teams went wild. Alpha E picks up a nice 2k bomb, and FTG think they've won the fight, but Knife drops in for a 2k with his Deadeye, and Viper ends up picking up 2, allowing for Yeti to regroup at the bridge in the next fight. But wait a second, how exactly did Knife get the 2k? Well, at the end of map replay, it ends up revealing that Knife actually dropped off of the high ground, and Violet boops him back into the air so he can kill Flora and Violet in its free 2-for-1 special. I don't really know what possessed Violet to do that, but in the next fight, Knife looks straight up possessed himself with the amount of shots he's hitting. He gets a nice clean 3k cleanup. On point C, Knife continues to dominate with a nice little electric cowboy 3k. I mean, this guy just puts his team on his back like he did all season long. I really hope to get to see him on a really good team next year as well. He has some serious potential. FTG end up capping, but they had no time left, and the win con was set for Yeti. However, on their point B attack, Alpha E hit Yeti with a nasty 2k pulse bomb off of the back of Bernard's Terra Surge, and with Bernard finishing off Bliss and mind controlling Donghack off the map, this brings Yeti to a final fight. Red as Yeti were about to cap B, Flora comes in with a massive 4k with a 2k OC to clutch up for FTG and beat Yeti in a map 5. This was an absolute banger of a series, but if you were paying attention, you might have noticed that a certain tank player was barely given any highlights. That's because it's time for a rapid-fire Donghack aura moments. If you know, you know. On Suravasa, Donghack got a massive 2k with his Primal, before sniping Violet on the way down. Later on that very same map, Donghack juggles Finn for an alley-oop to Knife, and then dives Bernard for the easy cleanup. He then hits a mid-air shot onto Alpha E to win the fight. On Havana, we were gifted with a beautiful Rhine 4K with 2 final blows, wiping FTG to the ground. Donghack really tried his best to help his team across the finish line, and was a pretty solid and underrated player all season long. But now that the Donghack aura moments have concluded, it's time we take a little break from Korea and talk about some of the EU games. EU has given us many great games, but none of them compare to the absolute absurdity that was SR Check versus a one-man army during Stage 4. This match was one of the most strange matches in a long time, and I'm all here for it. This was a lower bracket round 1 game, so whoever lost this one was going to be eliminated from the tournament early. Map 1 was Lijiang Tower, and we started out with the LH Cloudy Rhine, as he pins Ice off the map early in the game. Donghoon wasn't just going to let the Reinhardt be the better shield character though, and he hits a nasty 4-person rally bash to set Top Dragon up with the easiest dash resets of his life. The Orbital Strike was out from Alpha, and SR Check simply evaporated. Donghoon continued to show his dominance over Cloudy with a whip shot boop off the map, as well as taking down a Lippy to help secure the map for a one-man army. Donghoon really put Cloudy in his place early in the series, but Cloudy was not about to take that lying down, and on map 2, SRPC rolled through the first fights, putting up triple-digit numbers in the first 2 minutes of the map. Alvo really tried to bounce back with a nice 4K with some assistance from Bob, however, this map was all SRPC the whole way through. Things were looking to remain that way on Suravasa, with a very rare LH Cloudy swap up, and we get to witness the LH Cloudy Sigma. All things considered, it was actually really good. He hit a nice rock on Top Dragon for the early free kill, and another great rock on a mid-air alpha to secure the first point. SRPC were about to go up 2-0 on the map, but Cloudy decided that if he's gonna win, he's gonna do it on Reinhardt. Cloudy gets a boop on Ice with a pin to open up the map, and after some back and forth, SRPC go up 2-0. But Ice has a devious plan. He goes Orisa, and shocker, Orisa works really well against Reinhardt. One-man army take the following flashpoint. Although Cloudy's Fire Strike was able to kill Top Dragon mid-ult, it was too little too late, as Top Dragon had already blown up 2 players before he was taken down. A one-man army easily clean up SRPC, and it's onto the Decider flashpoint, as a one-man army are threatening to reverse sweep. On the final flashpoint, SRPC are about to engage with Orbital Ray, but Top Dragon kills a Lippy mid-ult, causing a Juno Ajax. This causes a massive momentum shift in a one-man army's favor, and after a clean double Terra Surge on the SRPC supports, a one-man army reverse sweeps Suravasa. SRPC really had it on a silver platter, but they threw the map away. Absolutely tragic. In order to keep their hopes alive, SRPC took it to Junkertown for map 4. Top Dragon opens the map up with a nasty aerial direct hit onto Ghost 91, but SRPC gets the rest of his team. Cloudy was feeling really spicy, and after getting 2 kills on the Orbital Ray, he decides to solo shatter and then teabag Top Dragon's Genji, and he cleans up Alvo afterwards. SRPC full cap the map with some time left, and on the defense, Cloudy hoots a huge 3k shatter to shut a one-man army down on the second point, securing the map for SRPC and bringing us to a map 5. King's Row was probably the most fitting map 5 possible for this match, and this was somehow the weirdest map we've had yet. SRPC pulled out a rare Junkrat sighting, and this actually worked. SRPC full hold a one-man army in a dominant fashion to set themselves up for the win, but Cloudy decides to do a little trolling, and he pulls out Doomfist for the attack. SRPC run out with Reaper, Doom, and Junkrat, and although they get a couple of opening kills, they're swiftly taken down and sent back to spawn. He tries to go back in for the second fight on Doom, but he gets straight up obliterated by Top Dragon, so he decides to swap back to Reinhardt. Luckily for them, the Reinhardt works, and after a pretty solid hold by a one-man army, SRPC are able to cap point A and win the most unserious game of Overwatch that was played this year. Time to move back to NA for a bit of a palate cleanser. But before we do that, I want to ask you all to please subscribe to the channel. I put a lot of time into this video, and I really enjoy doing it, so if you like this video or any of my stuff, consider subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment down below, or just liking the video. It helps support me, and it allows me to make more videos just like this. With all that said, let's talk about that one time the NRG Shock beat the Toronto Defiant. Map 1 was all Toronto, and NRG just couldn't seem to get anything going. And on map 2, NRG Shock subbed in the Dark Lord himself, and NRG ended up getting the full hold. But someone was having none of that, and after this clean Winston 4K, the Toronto Defiant got the fuller hold to put themselves up 2-0 early in the series. NRG take it to Suravasa for map 3, and it was clear that they had a much better understanding of this map than the others. Merritt decides that if NRG can't seem to kill him, he's gonna have to do it himself, and he blows himself up with his own pulse bomb after sticking it to Kellen's bubble. Like, he even helped get the kill on UV and thought, my team's got this, they don't need me, and he took himself out of the fight. Luckily for Merritt, Toronto ended up taking an early 70-meter lead in the map. However, NRG battled it back and got 85 meters in response. In the final fight, Scissors lands a pulse bomb on someone to bring him low and cleans up RuPaul right after the Kitsune Rush gets out. Sugarfree tries to EMP, but it only hits 2 players and just isn't enough, and Energy Shock end up taking Map 3. Map 4 was Blizzard World, and Cal and PGE ended up getting subbed in. In overtime on point B, Cal hits this beautiful Captive Sun onto RuPaul, snipes Merit, and helps attack finish off Vega. This allows for Energy Shock to cap through point B. On point C, Cal continues his dominance, with him receiving a nano from UV and proceeding to get a 3k on Alari, taking care of a sleeping someone and getting a clean 2-piece onto Lenny and RuPaul. However, Merit was not to be outdone, and he proceeded to hit a nasty Widow 3k to prevent Energy Shock from full capping the map. On Toronto's attack, UV hits a huge 3-man anti-nade, which allows for a nanoed attack to pick up 2 kills with 1 punch, giving the Energy Shock a big fight win. Energy are able to hold on to Toronto on point C, and all of a sudden, Energy Shock are threatening a reverse sweep. Map 5 was Suravasa, and after the Energy Shock got a free flashpoint, Toronto finally decided to fight back, with someone finding Rack Attack hiding up in the trees. But Scissors and the Energy Shock were able to define the rest of the Defiant and keep holding on. Despite waiting several fights, a nice Kitsune rush from Ultraviolet locks up the second flashpoint, and all of a sudden, Toronto were only 1 flashpoint away from getting reverse swept. On the third point, someone gets a nice multi-kill to help Toronto hopefully get a leg to stand on in this final map. On the fourth flashpoint, Rack hits a nice 5-man beat, and Scissors comes in to clean up Toronto. And suddenly like that, the Energy Shock are getting dangerously close to taking the map and completing this reverse sweep. In the final fight, Kellen pops his Primal, taking down Merit, but back on the point, disaster strikes. Our glorious king, Rack Attack, ends up killing Vega before he can touch, and the Energy Shock end up completing the reverse sweep, finally taking down the Toronto Defiant for the first time the whole year. This match was so fun, and was absolutely the highlight of NA Stage 3, showing that not only were the Toronto Defiant mortal, but that the Energy Shock were a serious contender. With our last NA match covered, it's time to go back over to the best region, Korea, with a classic banger between Zeta Division and Team Falcons in the Aces Stage 2 lower bracket finals, where the winner of this match would end up qualifying for the OWCS finals in Stockholm, while the other of them would have to sit on the sidelines and watch from home for some reason. As you'll see as we go over this match, both of these teams are very evenly matched, and both could have won in Stockholm. So it's pretty insane to me that because of OWCS's dump format, one of these powerhouses were not able to go. I've talked about this before, but I think this is probably the single worst thing about OWCS this previous year. I know it's expensive to fly out more Korean teams, but if you're supposed to have the best teams in the world at finals, then it's unfair to not have a top 3 team in the world not attend just because they play in the hardest region. Anyway, with that mini rant aside, oh man, this was a great series. The game started out in Nepal, and after an easy round 1 win for Zeta, we were given an Orisa duel for the ages between Hanbin and Bernard. However, Stalker locked in, getting an alley-oop kill onto Flora on the back of a Hanbin spear and obliterates Violet, swiftly cleaning up Bernard for a nice little 3k. In the next fight, Hanbin gets an opening kill with Terra Surge before interrupting Flora's Deadeye with a really nice spear, and leading Team Falcons to another teamfight win. Once overtime hits, Stalker continues to dominate with a brutal one-shot onto Violet and some nice shots to pick Finn out of the air, allowing Team Falcons to tie up the map. On the final map, Proper decides to dip his toes in Bernard's Terra Surge in order to use his barrage, but he gets his wing clipped and he loses his ult in the process. This error must have pissed him off or something, because there was no reason for him to do poor Alfie like that. Like, bro was just getting some poke shots and Proper just obliterated him out of the air. This pick gave Team Falcons a free fight win, and they snowballed it from here to take Map 1. Map 2 was King's Row, and Zeta started out on attack first, but Hanbin shut him down with a huge 2k Terra Surge and a third kill onto Flora for the cleanup. Luckily for Zeta, Pelican gets a huge 2k barrage onto both Team Falcon's supports, which allows for Zeta to cap A. Zeta push all the way through for a full cap, but they have no time left. On defense, Pelican decides to get a little silly with it, and takes a book out of Seeker's playbook and decides to hide for a sneak blizzard, and it works. He gets a free kill onto Chio, and sends Team Falcons scrambling. Stalker tries to get a pick on Widowmaker, but the Pelican May was just too much for Bro to handle, and Proper just dies. To nothing. I don't really know what happened, Bro just spontaneously combusted or something. Because of this black magic miracle, Zeta easily sweep the rest of Team Falcons and tie up the series. Hi, editing me here. I think the reason why Proper died is that he deflected Bernard's micro missiles into the ground or a wall or something and killed himself with the recoil damage. At least that's the only thing I can think of might have happened, so yeah, pretty funny. On Suravaso, Falcons go through and take the first point, and Stalker tries to open up Flashpoint 2 with his Deadeye, but Bernard whaps a spear right in his face, allowing for a rallying Violet to absolutely obliterate Fielder. Zeta clean up the rest of Falcons and start out strong on the second point. Pelican gets an opening pick onto Stalker, and with a big Terror Surge from Bernard, Zeta are able to tie it up 1-1. On point C, Stalker gets a nice kill with his Deadeye, allowing for Proper and Hanbin to sneak up the rest of Zeta division and take a 2-1 lead. Zeta tie it up on the fourth point, and on the last flashpoint, Proper thinks he's got it covered with his blade, but Pelican actually jukes him long enough for him to be healed up, and a headshot from Flora sends Proper packing. Flora then annihilates Stalker and helps clean up Falcons to keep them alive in the map. In the final fight, Hanbin gets caught out, but Stalker steps in and bodies Flora and Pelican, and picks up Finn afterwards to secure Falcons the map as they take the lead in the series. Simply just Stalker things. On Runasapi, Proper opens things up for Falcons with a clean 4K on the Genji, which was set up by a nice Terror Surge from Hanbin. A few fights later, Chio pops his Orbital Ray, and Proper launches in for another 3K Blade to give Falcons the lead and the checkpoint. In the following fight, a speed-boosted Stalker High Noon runs at Zeta for a 2K to extend their lead even further. However, LVE wasn't just gonna let Zeta lose that easily, and he hits a nice 2K Blade, plus a bonus skill onto Proper for a clean 3K to get Zeta right back into this thing. In the final fight, Stalker is able to get Violet with his Deadeye, but a flex from Alpha Yi and 2 more for a clean 3K help secure the map, and they tie up the series 2 apiece. On Rialto, Zeta get pretty solid offense going, with Alpha Yi cutting Falcons to pieces with a huge 4K, and 2 of them were from his blade. Zeta were able to capitalize, and they cap with 36 seconds remaining. On Team Falcon's attack, Stalker ends up flying Flora alone in the back, which will allow for Hanbin and Proper to clean up the 4v5. On point B, Proper gets a nice 2K Blade as well as a huge kill onto Bernard's Diva to help Falcons cap point B. On C, Stalker gets caught lacking by Violet, but a Blade from Proper and a 2K Annihilation from Hanbin help Falcons cap with 156 left on the clock. In extra rounds, Zeta really struggled to move the bot, and on Team Falcon's attack, they were able to barely clutch it up in a very close fashion. This series was an absolute blast to watch, and it showed just how close these top Korean teams were. As I said before, it is absurd that Zeta were not allowed to go to the playoffs, but hopefully OWCS fixes it next year and doesn't give the least slots to the best reason for some reason. Oh wait, they already decided that that's exactly what they're going to do again, and I'm simply blown out of the way for this decision. It was clearly a problem last year. There were so many great teams from Korea that didn't even get to make it. Like, you didn't even get to see Poker Face make it, who probably could have beaten majority of the teams there. Hopefully, OWCS realizes this mistake before the season starts, and we can get more than 2 Korean teams in the finals. Now it's time to talk about our last European game, this time being the 7-map slugfest between ENCE and SSG in the Stage 2 finals. At first, ENCE were dominating, going to 99% with only 35 for SSG, but Hadi decided to bring out the Rhine, and after he made Kai blow himself up from his sheer aura alone, he gets a double fire strike kill on both ENCE supports to keep SSG in the round. ENCE end up taking the round, and in round 2, Psycho hits a nice 2K pulse bomb to eliminate both ENCE supports. Plus, he gets a nice cleanup onto Kevster, allowing for SSG to take the lead. ENCE weren't going to take that lying down, and with a nice 3-tap by Kai, he gets rid of Funny Astro early. This opens the door for ENCE to flip the point, and after some stall, Masa gets 3 kills to wipe SSG. Funny Astro tries to touch, but a huge spear spin from Bastola means that ENCE will take map 1. Map 2 was Midtown, and after a pretty good point A hold for ENCE, Psycho tears them apart with the Tracer 3K on point B to give SSG a massive 4 minutes to cap point C. However, despite this time bank, SSG weren't prepared for the Kevster Widowmaker. Now, it's time for the Kevster Spotlight, where he ended up hitting a total of 6 headshot kills to stop the SSG attack in its tracks. Kevster became the lobby admin, winning fights with just a single kill and really slowing SSG down. Unfortunately, the broadcast doesn't show all the kills, but it's clear to see just how much impact Kevster has. SSG are finally able to break through after 4 minutes and cap with no time remaining. On Ence's attack, they kept A pretty quick, giving them a 5-minute time bank, but they just can't seem to get through SSG's defense, and their time bank drains very quickly. Ents are about to cap point B, but Ents somehow don't get the cap with 0.1 meters remaining. In OT, Sparker comes up big with a 2k Deadeye to take the map for SSG and to tie up the series. On Colosseo, SSG decided to go for a flank in the first fight, but Masa was ready, sending Landon straight off the map and allowing for an easy cleanup for Ents. In the next fight, SSG really seemed to struggle against Kai's Bastion, where he picks up 2 early kills in the fight to give Ents the lead. After Ents cap the checkpoint, Hottie tries to play aggressive, after Astro drops the beat, but a nice wall from Kevster traps Hottie away from his team, and Kevster drops an artillery strike directly on top of his head, allowing for an easy Ents teamfight and a massive lead gained. In order to try to get SSG back into the map, Sparker goes for a sneaky flanking Bob, which works beautifully. Bob gets 2 and Sparker cleans up Kai for the 3k. SSG are looking for last minute comeback, but they seem to have forgotten about the bot, which ended up getting stolen by Kevster. Kevster steals it away and SSG will C9 the map, giving Ents a free 2-1 lead in the series. Map 4 was Suravasa, and this map was all Ents. It was a swift 3-0 for them, and the only real highlight of the map was a nice artillery strike kill and cleanup for Vistola to securely dominate this map. After this, most people, myself included, really thought it was over for SSG, and Ents were going to claim Stage 2. But, unless it's in the OWCS finals, you can never count SSG out. Route 66 was a completely different result, with SSG actually full holding Ents with their dive comp. At first, it looked like maybe Ents was going to make it past A, getting 2 early kills onto both SSG supports, and to be honest, it should have been over at this point. But Hottie's Primal buys enough time and space for Psycho and Sparker to pick off some of Ents, and Astro and Landon are able to return quickly and finish them off. On SSG's attack, Sparker tries to dash in, but eats a rock from Vistola and crumples, giving Ents an opportunity to maybe full hold and win Stage 2. In the following fight, Kai gets a few kills on the Bastion before getting slapped into the air by Hottie's Primal. Like, seriously, look at how confused Kai is in this thing. He has absolutely no idea what's going on and where he's going. In the final fight, Psycho plants a bomb right at Kai's feet, and he's taken out early, and with the main source of damage gone for Ents, SSJ swiftly cap and take Map 5. Map 6 was Samoa, and it looked as though Ents were going to take round 1, but Funny Astro completed his rollout, and with a nice Suzu from Landon, he's able to get the sound barrier off, which lasts long enough for Psycho to swoop in and get a pick onto Kevster. He follows it up with a pulse bomb into Vistola, allowing for SSG to barely take round 1. In the second round, it was all SSG, with Psycho cleaning up Ents with a nice pulse bomb plus sweep up by Sparker, which gives SSG another win, and all of a sudden we have a tied 3-3 series. Moving over to Junkertown for our final map, Psycho opens up the defense with a nasty 5k, and bro has the moves. He made it look straight up easy, opening it up with a nice pulse bomb and cleaning up the rest of Ents for a team kill, opening the door for SSG to cap the first point. On second point, Chase holds SSG down with a nice Terra Surge plus a good cleanup onto Hottie. Ents managed to hold on and stop SSG on the second point, but on their offense, Sparker goes on the flank and shuts them down with an opening pick onto Kevster. He then pops some heads as he gets 3 more for a nice 4k. As the time bank dwindled down, it seemed like SSG had this in the bag, but Kevster kills too, and with a nice spear spin from Chase, Ents keep themselves alive on Junkertown. On second point, SSG win a fight, and they look to stagger out Crimzo, but apparently, Crimzo has ninja level evasion skills, because he actually makes it out alive. Like, I'm fully convinced that he slipped Funny Astro a $20 bill to scoop him upwards because there's actually no way he survived that. With this miraculous play, Ents look to try to get back in the map and secure the series that they probably should have won a long time ago, but Sparker shuts them down with a massive opening pick onto Kevster of all people. and he cleans up the support line as they try to escape up the stairs. After this, Sparker nails Kevster again with his Deadeye, and SSG take this Map 7 stage title. This was easily one of the best matches of the whole year, and this Stage 2 title match was an absolute highlight for EMEA. Before we move on to our final match, I just want to say thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. I know this has been a long one, so I appreciate you watching to this point so far. I put a lot of time and effort into this video, so if you've liked it or you just want to support me, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, or leave a comment on this video. All of those things will really help me out and allow me to make more content like this. With all that said though, let's move on to the final match of this video, that being the wild series between Crazy Raccoon and Team Falcons in the Dallas Major Finals. This match was a rematch of the winners finals, in which Team Falcons had won in a very close game, and after winning in the lower bracket, Crazy Raccoon wanted revenge on Team Falcons. Map 1 was Oasis, and what a great map this one was. On round 1, Lip tried to retake the point with a nice Deadeye, but Smurf absolutely crunches him, and Chorong's beat was just a little bit too late. As Crazy Raccoon tried to recontest, Proper gets a nice double kill onto the Crazy Raccoon support line, and Team Falcons take round 1. In a shocking turn of events, Junbin walks out on Roadhog in the second round, and at first it seemed like it was just a troll pick, but Junbin proves everyone wrong with a really funny 2k whole hog, blasting Smurf into the corner and straight up grabbing Proper to give Crazy Raccoon the fight win. But the Roadhog wasn't finished, because he then grabs Smurf and hooks him off the map. I genuinely can't believe we got a Roadhog environmental kill in a Grand Finals in 2024. Simply amazing. Thank you, Junbin. In overtime, Crazy Raccoon wraps up the point with a Shu Kitsune rush and another funny kill from the Roadhog and tie the map up. On round 3, Heesang opens up the point with a nice 3k, including 2 direct hits onto the support line. The final fight was one of the wildest sequences I've ever seen in Overwatch, and me describing it won't do it justice, so I'm just gonna play the whole clip.
Too far away, as Proper pulls the blade, he's already taken care of Shu, he's got the front line in his sights now, a nice little deflate, and another kill onto Junbin, 2 for Proper, healed up by Fielder up onto the high ground, he manages to scurry away, and now he's only got to deal with this Venture, but it is Heesang that lays him to rest! Crazy Raccoon, they still got control of the point, but for how much longer? It's Venture on Venture violence, but Stalker comes out on top! Team Falcons, they need to just cap, but Chorong is back!
Chorong is back. The Kitsune Rush gets laid down, and that's going to buy time for Junbin.
Cage and Junbin matches Smurf, jumps straight on in there. It's all gone south for Team Falcons now. Stalker ends up going down as Shu puts a kunai between his eyes, and Shu comes up and get another kill. A sound barrier for Shu might see them in this fight. He manages to get it off, but it's only on 2. There's one man you can rely on, and that is Proper, but for how much longer? Tectonic Shock will end it!
On New Junk City, Stalker and Proper had a field day. Stalker's Venture was lights out the whole map, and Lip not being able to play as many hitscan characters really hurt Crazy Raccoon. However, the Lip Tracer was not to be underestimated. Lip opened up the second flashpoint with a huge Tracer 4K to get Crazy Raccoon back into the map after Team Falcons took the first flashpoint. In the following fight, Heesang comes up big with a 3k blade, allowing for an easy cleanup for Crazy Raccoon. Not wanting to be overshown, Proper gets a 2k blade in Smurf's Maga Cage onto both Crazy Raccoon supports for an easy fight win. It looked as though Crazy Raccoon might have taken the point, but Stalker shuts Chorong down and follows it up, killing Heesang mid-blade to help Team Falcons take their second flashpoint in a row. Crazy Raccoon fight back and take the third flashpoint, and Junbin triggers OT on the fourth one, but Shu and Chorong get taken down, and Team Falcons hold on and tie up the series. Map 3 was Watchpoint Gibraltar, which is special because this was the dive map in the pool, which meant no more Maga Mirror. We were finally gifted with a Winston dive setup and a Widow duel between Lip and Proper. On Team Falcon's defense, Smurf had so much aura while nanoed that Junbin and Shu decided that they would rather stand on Stalker's Pulse Bomb than face him. Junbin gets tired of Proper's Widow and tries to primal him, but a sleep from Fielder leads to Junbin getting straight up executed and forcing Crazy Raccoon to commit a ton of ults to cap point A. On point B, Stalker absolutely styles on Crazy Raccoon with a nasty pulse bomb and a clean ass 3k to follow it up. Just simple casual things for the Tracer GOAT. Proper hits some pretty nice shots, but I think it gets to his head, because he takes a disgustingly aggressive angle and gets easily caught out, allowing for Crazy Raccoon to get a clean and easy fight, and with a nice nano and primal from Junbin, and some clean shots from Lip, Crazy Raccoon pushed through to cap B in overtime. However, Team Falcons are able to hold them on C. Despite Team Falcons doing pretty good on the dive comp, they decide to completely abandon the dive and full swap to Maga on attack, and Crazy Raccoon just take over. Heesang dominates Proper in the Tracer 1v1, giving Crazy Raccoon a free hold. Heesang had Proper's number in this fight, and it's crazy to see some of the best Tracer players duking it out like this. Team Falcons just struggled to do much of anything against Crazy Raccoon's dive defense, and Crazy Raccoon are able to full hold Team Falcons to take the lead in the series. Map 4 was New Queen Street, and we were blessed with another fun Junbin pick, with him pulling out the Wrecking Ball to dominate Team Falcons in an unexpected fashion. Alongside the Rodent, we got to bear witness to the Lip Sojourn, and he opened things up with a nice railgun onto Proper, before getting another pick shortly after onto Fielder. A few nice fights later, and Junbin absolutely bullies poor Fielder, dropping the mines on him before sending him off the map. The next fight, he goes after Fielder again, forcing the TP and then chasing him down for yet another opening pick. This seemed to be the game plan for Crazy Raccoon, as they killed Fielder pretty consistently first in every single fight. Team Falcons tries really hard to come back into the map, but Crazy Raccoon keeps their dominance rolling, dropping double support ults and getting a nice team kill to extend their lead in the series 3-1. Map 5 was King's Row, and after a solid first fight, Junbin tries to retouch, but he gets denied by Chio, which gives Falcons a clean point A cap. Team Falcons push their way all the way to the end of the map, where a nice 2k from Proper and a Tectonic Shock from Stalker helps push Team Falcons across the line for a full cap, but some stalling from Lip means that they have no time remaining. Crazy Raccoon cap A, and they look to take point B as well, but Proper pops Overclock and absolutely obliterates Crazy Raccoon and stops them in their tracks. I always forget just how good of a hit scan Proper is, and he demonstrates it right here. Right before overtime triggers, Crazy Raccoon make a push to cap the point, but Fielder pops his Kitsune Rush, allowing for Stalker to get some nice dash resets, and they're able to take down Lip and Heesang before they even have a chance, allowing for an easy cleanup for Team Falcons to send us to a Map 6. Map 6 was Ilios, and after a pretty dominant first round from Team Falcons, Junbin tries to leap onto the point to trigger overtime, but a huge whip shot from Chio prevents it from touching, and Team Falcons get the first point. Lip was really not wanting to lose this game, and he hits a nice pulse bomb onto Shu and gets the blink melee finish onto Chio. I always forget that despite being a hitscan player, Lip has got a nasty tracer under his belt. I mean, then again, that is the Overwatch GOAT for you. In overtime, Lip gets yet another pulse bomb kill, this time onto Chio, and Smurf ends up getting slept by Shu just barely off the point, which means that he can't touch, bringing us to a third round. Junbin decides to bring the Rodent back out, and he gets a slam onto Stalker in their own spawn door, as well as a stagger kill onto Fielder as well. Stalker tries his absolute best to win the final fight, but he just couldn't do enough, with Lip getting multiple kills on his team, and he is eventually brought down, giving Crazy Raccoon the win and the Dallas DreamHack title. This has been a really fun season, and I'm hoping for more memorable matches in OWCS Season 2. I really hope they learn from this first season and make OWCS Season 2 as good as it can be. But the recent announcement of only 2 Korean teams at finals yet again really has me worried that not all of the best teams will make it to the finals for the second year in a row. Hopefully this gets changed and they learn from their previous mistake from last season. That was definitely the worst part of OWCS, and if they fix this, I think it's really got a good path going. Another thing is I'm not really sure why Toronto Defiant and NRG were not really invited back. I think that was a huge missed opportunity, and these teams really helped keep the OWCS scene alive. They're the only remaining OWL teams, and I think that they should be treated with as much respect as possible for helping keep this esport alive. Nothing but respect to them, and I do wish they would come back to Overwatch, but I understand exactly why they won't. Regardless of all this though, what a great opening season to OWCS. Team Falcons finally got their crown, and a ton of players made a huge name for themselves. With all that said though, thank you all so much for watching. This was a really long one, and I appreciate everyone who watched all the way through this thing. I put a lot of time and effort into this, so if you want to support me, please subscribe to the channel, leave comments, and leave a like on this video. All of these things help me out a ton and allow me to make more content like this. I've got playlists full of more videos just like this on my channel, so if you like OWCS, the Overwatch League, or just Overwatch content, please consider subscribing. With all of that said though, thank you all so much for watching.